It's the end of a good day's work in Idaho. Time to punch out. Time to check in, catch up. Time to remind ourselves that what we work for isn't a paycheck. It's to make the good things we have even better. So here's to your good day's work. Idaho's Central Credit Union. We believe money is a thing. It's not everything.
At Blue Ribbon Painting, we're proud to be a locally family-owned and operated business dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's freshening up your home with interior or exterior painting or tackling a commercial project, we've got you covered. When you choose Blue Ribbon Painting, you're not just hiring painters. You're getting a team that's committed to making your vision a reality. Call or text us at 208-369-2583 or visit us at blueribbonpainting.net. Your project deserves a blue ribbon finish.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Is your IT setup held together by duct tape and hope? Don't worry, Alpine IT Group has your back. We handle on-site support, service desks, cloud management, office phone systems, mobile device management, and more. And the best part, we can fix things remotely, so you can concentrate on your clients. Call Alpine IT Group at 1-888-720-4769 or visit alpineitgroup.com today. Scaling success together and completely duct tape free.
to the Boise State Esports Arena as we continue our coverage of the Power Esports Conference. Tonight, we'll be seeing how the Boise State Broncos Super Smash Bros. Team matches up against the University of Southern California Trojans. My name is Audrey Norris, calling all the action with my good friend here, Bryce Jensen, as we get to see the Boise State team go up against their next opponent in this conference. So far, the season has been going fairly well for us. We've been, doing, we've had some ups and downs throughout this season and year for the team, but overall, we've been able to get a lot more comfortable and a couple more wins than we did earlier on the season. Now, we do have a new player on the team. With everything we've been watching now, we've seen 2 weeks, we've seen everything they've been doing. Do you think that's been a factor in just how Boise State's been changing up their gameplay?
Yeah, Boise State recently got their newest addition, Mata, who joined the team earlier in the semester to start out this next season. And from what we've seen so far, I do think that it has had a pretty significant impact. The one loss they did take against Michigan State was a pretty significant loss. However, every single game after that one has either been really close or Boise State has shown more dominance than they have in any of the games in the previous semester. And honestly, I think having another anchor character other than Leodog on the DDD takes a lot of the pressure off of Leodog. A lot of the time in the last semester, we'd see Leodog going into a very severe stock disadvantage, which is hard to ask out of anybody to dig yourself out of. However, Mata has been able to prove time and time again that they can take more than just 3 stocks and calling it good. They've taken 4 and 5 stocks at a time, and I feel like that's what Boise State really needed out of their players.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, during the last matchup that we watched, Boise State actually came out with a stock advantage overall. I mean, it has been quite some time since we've been able to see all of our team together working for all of that, and just getting that advantage of the extra character. As we're getting ready to go in, we also just get to look at a little bit of a preview of our fighter game players, both for Street Fighter and Super Smash Bros. Here, because we do have both of those teams playing. But as I was saying with Super Smash Bros., last week we went into a stock advantage of, I believe it was 1 full character at minimum. It might have been an additional stock, but I don't quite remember. But that's something that I not even have seen in other matchups when we've been watching during the Power Esports Conference in Mountain West. So to see that happen is kind of crazy, because I can only remember seeing that consistently during my first year of casting, which was 2 years ago at this point. And so seeing that has been a really good turnaround for Boise State. Now, obviously, not every matchup you're going to get that advantage. A lot of times in Smash Bros, it's going to be down to the wire. But it is a refreshing change of pace, because it is rough to be stuck in the fights over and over and over again, going to the very last stock every time. Smash Bros takes a while, and that is an exhausting thing to be doing every time.
Yeah, especially because even if you aren't in the game currently, you're not the one pushing the buttons, you're not the one getting stocks, you're still rooting for your team, and you have to think, am I good enough to go up against that? Am I good enough to take a stock where my teammate couldn't? Am I better than my teammate? There's so much mental going on, even for those who aren't playing in the background. And sure, you might be resting physically, but mentally your mind's still going at 100 miles an hour. How am I going to counter this character? How are we going to get past this character, and what do they have in store?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just your skill level too, right? It can be the matchup. Some characters are just innately better at dealing with other characters than some others. A good thing that I talked about this with Supersonic, when Supersonic and I talked after the last matchup. We were talking about how he's had a lot of really rough matchups where he hasn't really gotten to do stuff that Olimar would normally succeed at, because he's just been put in so many weird positions. But during the last matchups, we saw him go up against characters that he is fairly good for a matchup with. And so that was something we were talking about, how it was it's refreshing to see you not go up against what is essentially one of the worst things that you could possibly be fighting right now.
And I felt like every time we did see Supersonic come out, it was in a really unfortunate scenario, because a lot of the time during the last semester, he'd be the one who would lead, and then they'd throw him up against a Marth or a Lucina or another sword character, or somebody who just doesn't let him get the resources that he needs to really get it rolling.
Every time you throw a Pikmin, the Pikmin is gone because someone can sword swing, or a character that just hits so hard and has so much potential, for stock eat up, they can just take as much damage as they want. What are you supposed to do against that? When you're a chip damage guy that also is very reliant on the type of Pikmin you get and the way everything cycles. Not a lot lot you can do in that situation.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to hope for a good matchup. But before we get into the Super Smash Bros. Game tonight, we are going to be showing off a little bit of darts action. We have our production team out here showing off their skills with the darts with a single 12 to start it off. In this game of darts, it's a little bit different than Super Smash Bros. It's essentially like cornhole, where you got to get to 13 and you can't go over, otherwise you get reset, which is never fun. I'm not very good at darts, so I can't judge too much, but that's neither here nor there.
I've been learning recently, but, hey, if you ever thought that the esports arena, was just all fun and games in the video game fashion, no. We've got also our wonderful dartboards here. We've got 2 of them that you can play, and in addition to our dartboards, we also have some pinball machines coming in, which has been really fun with our staff working to get them ready. But yeah, with looking at our darts right now, we see, both players kind of just warming up and getting ready to go. Player 2 currently in the lead here. Though, player 2, I have been watching play darts during a couple of our streams on the side here, so most certainly fairly comfortable with what they're doing.
Yeah, pretty hard to ignore, especially with that double 20 at the end to almost even things out. Only 11-point difference. Single 19, though, is looking to expand that, and with another 11. Basically, once you get around until you get around 60, I'd say, you want to be going for those really big numbers, because getting the bust is never fun, going back up to whatever you were at in the first place. But I did see earlier that Brady, the guy with the beanie there, had he accidentally...
They both have beanies.
Oh, yes, they do both. The guy
that's Nova on screen, and then Brady is the other person in the background flexing right now.
Yeah, he managed to get a bust on I think it was a 90, or no, I think it was an 80. So...
yeah, feels bad moment. Yeah.
Yeah, feels bad moment. We need to get a quotes channel for the Discord.
Oh yeah, I did make a joke about that earlier, didn't I?
I feel like every group and organization needs a quote board, just like a whiteboard where you put in just like the most deranged things.
Okay, but the question is it an out of context one or a in context one? Because depending on the situation, those can be funnier. My friend group really likes the out of context quotes where you just, if you're not in the situation and you see the most wild quote about like something and you're like, what's going on? And then no one tells you. Funniest stuff for at least us. But with that, checking back in on the darts game, player 2 at 20, getting fairly close to the score. We'll have to see how player 1 handles this, if they'll be able to get any closer. We'll see here.
The triple 3 is going to bring
him
closer, but not quite what you would have wanted out of the triples. There's a lot of big numbers out there, but at the same time...
Okay, but if he...
Oh,
and a miss.
Not as bad as it could be, but if...
Oh, it's so close.
Oh, the right place, but the wrong rank. Unfortunate.
Wow.
Man,
I told him not to choke in anything. I told him to choke. Well, not choke. What am I saying? I told him not to choke on stream, and here we are. Getting a bust right here.
But a double 20 is going to bring it to 4. That's kind of a spooky spot to be, though. Any mistake it's going to be really hard, but not if Brady just puts it away with a single 20.
Look at that.
That's what you want to see.
We got to do a little bit of a check-in with some of the other games that we have at the arena. And I mean, if you are a Boise State student, you are able to come down to the arena and come hang out, play games. It's completely open to anyone who is in the Boise State ecosystem. So if you're interested in coming in and checking out what we're doing, all of that is available to you. As both our streams, when they're live, people are allowed to come and watch from the stage as we're casting, play games, have fun, and just join in on everything that we're doing. As it's the community, and that's part of what it is, especially in Super Smash Bros. We have a big community here. But as we're still, getting ready to go, we're going to go into our second round here between these two players, with player 2 now being Nova and player 1 being Brady. So far, Brady looks like to be in the lead, but will that change?
Yeah. Already at 234, almost a perfect number sequence, just missing the 1. Kind of rolling low with the dart picks here, but 212 is still nothing to scoff at for the second round. Player 2, Nova, going in with 281. Safe spot to be. You want to be going for those triple 20s. You want to be getting those high roll numbers, and overall, it's really forgiving right now. You want to save those lower numbers for when you get closer to the coveted 0.
Yeah. Remind me what the rules are again?
So the rules for darts are essentially there are 3 rings, or I guess there's 2 rings, and then there's the greater dart.
Oh, yeah.
But you can either get a double or a triple of every single number on the dart wheel from 1 to 20. However, if you score in the bullseye, it's worth 50 points. Now, that might seem a little odd because I said that there's a triple 20, but that is the highest you can score in a game of darts, and it's very hard to do, but I've seen people go like several in a row, but there we go, the double bullseye. Bringing that down quite a bit, 50 points, as I'm talking about it.
I know. You summoned it talking about it. Sorry, Brady. Our bad.
We
cast
but he got the triple 20. Let's go. And a triple.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said a triple 20 when he hit a triple 2, and then he hit a triple 20. So you're welcome, Brady.
Yeah, but in this particular game mode, what's the objective
So
here?
the objective is to get to exactly 0. So that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to score really hard.
Right, that's why you want to
really
score high at the beginning to really rack it down, but then you want to be careful so you don't make it a really annoying number to actually acquire.
Yeah, and then, like, let's say you score you have 15 points left and you score a 20. That means you bust and you go back to 15 points. So you basically reset. So for anybody who's played cornhole, like the analogy I made earlier, it's the same thing there. It's like a 1st to 13, and then you keep going until you either make it exactly or you go over and you restart.
Yeah.
Although this game's a little bit more forgiving than cornhole because then you have to go all the way back to 0.
Yeah.
At least the way my family plays anyway.
That's not how we play cornhole in my family, but everyone has different traditions for their games, and that is part of the fun of it,
Yeah.
So I believe Nova won the last one, but
No, Brady won the last one. He got a 20, but he busts.
You're right.
Keeping his score at 30.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nova, their streak has not been as strong as the previous match, though still getting the points down slowly but surely.
Yeah, only a 9 on the scoreboard, but that's okay. Brady at 30. He's in a really good spot to win this with a double 15, but a single 18 is going to get him a really long way just as well. He needs to be careful, though. A miss is better than hitting something over a 12, but a single 14 is going to put him just above the 30 threshold, and he has been busted right back to 30.
Ooh, never a fun spot to be here when you're trying to figure out the numbers and make sure you don't mess it up, but, slowly but surely continuing on.
Although I will say, this is good for Nova, though. The more Brady misses, the more chances they get to sort of bring back the scoreboard. It's 127 to 28, which is not a very hard hill to climb out of all the ones there.
That is true. That is true. We'll have to see here, though. Another opportunity for Brady. Getting ready to go. That's a
triple 1?
Yep.
Can we get a double 1 to round it out?
Oh,
the miss. I will say, though, he put points on the board. He's at 26.
Yeah, you just bring it a little bit lower so you don't bust, but make it a little bit easier to figure out there.
Get yourself to 1, so that way you have to hit the 1.
That sounds horrible.
That would suck.
Just being stuck at 1 the entire time. Yikes. Oh, okay, 14. Okay. Where's he going to go? Oh!
And a single 14 is going to close it out. Man, what a game. What is this best out of?
I mean, it was
it's
a best of 3. So with that, Brady is going to take the
victory.
The victory tonight. We'll have to see if this continues as we're getting ready to jump back into the main show. After all,
what does he get from the win? Because I mean, there is a Trader Joe's just across the street.
Are you suggesting that he should be gifted something?
Yeah, he should get like one of the cinnamon bread things. I had one of those recently.
One of the cinnamon bread things. Well,
it's like a baguette almost. Like the big bread rolls you can get from Walmart.
Yes, I do
So
know
it's
what
like
you're talking
it's
about.
like one of those, but covered in cinnamon and sugar. But
that does sound pretty good.
discarding the Trader Joe's
Well,
talk
we can
here,
talk about
we
food,
got
but in addition to food, as
Yeah.
we're getting ready to go, we can talk about food.
Yeah, we can talk about food because there's somebody on the Trojan side named Calamari.
See, we're on topic still. We're on topic. But as we're getting ready to jump into it, just to recap, this is going to be the Boise State Broncos versus the University of Southern California Trojans for the Power Esports Conference. Both teams going to be going up against each other in a best of 3 to see who will be able to take it tonight. Now, we're very familiar with the Boise State roster, though it does look like today Leia Dog will not be here, and we'll be having Gokis in with King DDD. That's right. I forgot that he plays that. I just don't see it often because normally Leia Dog would be the
You
one
got to
playing
keep the
it.
DDD in the roster. It's like
I know.
it's like
What
the
would
wrecking
Boise-
ball in Overwatch. It's just a staple you got to have.
Which is funny because by a lot of standards, most people would say DDD isn't the best, but, I think it's a Boise State staple at this point, 3 years or so that he has been playing on the team. But for that, we've got, some of our classics. We've got Supersonic Dr. Mata now joining the team, and Goki's here. So we've got, our fairly, like the roster we'd fairly expect, but for the University of Southern California, we've got Rafi, Jaden, Calamari, and I like to meep. That's a good one. I am a big fan, and it looks like Terry, Kirby, Jigglypuff, and Joker. That's going to be an interesting
A lot of characters we've seen before, but
Sephiroth.
one that we haven't is Sephiroth on the side of BSU yet. And starting off strong for the side of the Trojans here with Calamari.
Terry jumping in. I mean, Terry is a pretty strong character here, but we see Sephiroth not wanting to give any ground if possible here, trying to stay nearby. And I mean, Sephiroth can hurt and pack a punch, but we do see the go meter going out. Sephiroth's going to want to be careful. Any massive attack from Terry could be a knockout here with the go meter up and active, and Sephiroth knows that, using the advantage of being at their higher percentage for their buff as well. The fun gimmick of all the DLC characters having their little buff here.
Yeah, the go meter is online, which opens up a ton of combo potentials for Terry, and a lot more powerful special attacks as well. Which Sephiroth being one of the lightest characters in the game, I think he's rivaling Kirby for the lightest character in this game. And
Sora does,
but it's not gonna matter.
Sephiroth is not ready to go down just yet, getting one good sword swing off, able to knock Terry out. Boise State taking the first stock of the matchup here.
Yeah, Terry brought fists to a knife fight, and I think he's learning the hard way that maybe that's not the best way to go, but once you get in close like that, there's not too much you can do about it. Sephiroth back down to 2, Terry evening it out.
As we see now, kind of evened out. Both of them looking for their advantage in this fight. Terry getting a strong attack off and continuing it, knocking Sephiroth off the stage. Going for the edge guard with the power wave, and they are able to get it off, but Sephiroth gets them in a grab with the back air, throws them off the ledge. A knockout. Wow, that was a good one there.
I will say Terry hits like a truck once he gets you in those combos, but he does not have a very great recovery for getting out of the ones put up by other players. And the thing is about Sephiroth is that he can hit you from a lot longer than expected, but with a really good directional input, he's able to stay in this game as long as he stays away from Terry. 130% is not where you want to be, but there it goes. The up special is enough to knock out Sephiroth, evening the playing field once again. Both parties at 1 stock remaining.
I'm not necessarily shocked by that in this matchup, but we'll have to see if the Trojans will be able to gain a bit of a lead here on the Broncos. They had it at the beginning, but so far, Boise State has been holding on to it ever since. Looking for that opportunity here. Ooh,
oh, the
and
purple
Sephiroth getting the stacks. Just call them the purple Skittles. You know what? Fair enough.
I heard somebody call them that, and that's what I refer to them as from now on. The purple Skittles of Doom.
You know what? Fair enough. Unfortunately, it will not be the doom of Terry, as the Trojans are able to get the upper hand in this last part of the matchup, getting a lead of 1 stock. Now, not the end of the
Not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, right? But it is a good place to be if you're able to take what was, a lead that gets lost back into a lead. So far, the Trojans holding strong, and with Terry, that is not a fun one to run into, you know? I mean, all of the DLC characters have, you know, their, like, little unique abilities. Like, we saw that for, you know, Sephiroth. Sephiroth has his winged form, and Terry has Go mode, and both of them, you know, can kind of match that for each other. Is like, yeah, I also get scarier when I get into higher damage, but for the rest of the members of Boise State, they don't have access to that.
I think the only DLC character that doesn't have a transformation, like in some form or another, like getting an extra move, having a resource, I think the only one that doesn't have that is Byleth. Because they don't have like a meter.
Doesn't. Right?
Well,
and
no,
Steve,
she does. Well, Steve has the resource meter.
Yeah, but but that's not, okay, if we're talking like percentage-based buffs.
Yeah.
Min, Steve, and who did you mention? Byleth?
Yeah, Byleth.
I was going to say, I guess that's a Terry and Joker and
yeah.
Kazuma?
Or Kazuya. Kazuma is an anime
Kazuya
character.
and Sephiroth. it's the 3 fighter guys, and then well, no, wait, it's the 2 fighter guys, Joker,
and then Sephiroth.
Yeah. So we have our
menagerie of you beat me up.
I was about to say, it's all fighter characters, but I'm like, no, it's not. 2 of them are fighter characters, and then the other 2 are from completely different genres of game. Because one of them is Persona, which is you fight, but it's not the same type of fighting game.
Yeah, it's more of a turn-based strategy game than a fighting game.
I've yet to play it, but I've watched plenty of people.
It's pretty fun. I played Reload recently, and that was a fun one. I would recommend.
At some point, I've been listening to the soundtrack for their newest game, Metaphor. But I have yet to get into Persona. You know, if anything, that's one of my favorite things about Joker getting added. Joker is a cool character, but that also meant we got the Joker soundtrack into Super Smash Bros. But we won't be seeing that today, as Boise State is going to be bringing in a new character. Well, not a new character, but we will be bringing in
Goki's
a less played character, which is going to be Goki's on Snake here.
How could he? He decided to forsake the DDD in favor of the Snake, which I can't really blame him for.
Yeah.
Snake is a pretty good character.
As we though have to be careful.
Yeah, you can't really let him get close. Snake can do a lot to sort of patrol the battleground and not let anyone get close, but you can't really allow Terry an inch or he will take a mile.
Which he's already attempting to do, with Snake not getting any damage onto the Terry here just yet, using shields to avoid any much more painful hits, but it's to no avail as Boise State does get knocked off the ledge, though Snake with his recovery, it's never really going to be an issue. You're never going to see me panicking off of that, though potential knock off with enough damage to knock them to the side could be exactly what will happen right there, as Boise State loses their first stock in this matchup, now getting a little bit of damage off the revive here. They are going to have a little bit of a hill to climb, but luckily for them, they only have to do it one time.
They only have to do it once, but Terry managed to go that entire first exchange with barely taking any damage. Snake needs to find a way to control the field just a little bit better than the first time, and from the looks of things, start to figure things out.
Yeah. They're going to have to be careful on these exchange. Power Wave going out, and Terry trying to go for, as we know, one of the most frustrating spike attacks in the game, but luckily for Snake, he is able to avoid it and get a shield up. However, the second time is going to go through, and the damage that is launching them back is getting much worse with every hit here. Boise State is in a good spot for it, gets the grab, knocking Terry off the ledge, but not far enough to really do any punishment. Ooh, Terry tries to go for the knockout, but it's not going to happen just yet.
Yeah, the DI saves Snake there, but at 134, one punch from Terry will close it out. Terry now with Go is an even more dangerous opponent, but Snake with the rocket launcher looking to be a general nuisance on the ledge, but Terry's going to be getting out, and he uses it.
There's the Go meter.
Go meter comes out, and unfortunately, Snake finds himself at the wrong end of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about before, is how dangerous the Go meter can be. And that's exactly the position that Boise State is in now, with the damage racking up faster than before. If the Broncos want to be able to take this stock, they have to do it now, or they might be out of the race, at least for this current matchup. And we see that right now. Boise State in the middle, trying to gain control of the field, avoiding the grab, but not into the second Go attack. And with that, Terry is going to hold on to their stock and bring Boise State down to a 6 versus 10.
Calamari going on a 6-stock win streak. That is crazy for some fried octopus.
I think that's calamari. That's I like to
Oh, that's
meep.
I like to meep.
I was going to say, if I remember correctly, from the previous time we fought the Trojans, their Terry was pretty insane. So, if I remember correctly, this is about what you would expect this Terry player has practiced. They know their combos. They know what they're doing. Definitely not me. If I play Terry, I forget all the time how to actually get all of the abilities off. I just spam and then something happens.
I feel like that's just all the fighting game characters because, like, if you don't main the character, you're not going to know all the combos. Like,
yeah, there's just too much going on.
The people who play Kazuya mostly from Fatal Fury, I have some serious respect for their memory because there's so much going on with that character. And you get one combo where if you just hold A, then it'll do it for you. It's like I think it's a 10-hit combo if I remember right. But you never see him use it.
Yeah.
It's always the
they're like, no, I'll do it myself.
up, down,
Don't worry
down,
about
left, right, home button, X, close out the game, restart your Nintendo Switch, log back onto the internet, and KO you.
I really thought you were going to do the actual Konami code, and then you went completely off script. And I was like, well, because immediately in my head I went BA start, and I'm like, wait, no, you didn't do it. You didn't do the thing. But
I went off. You went off
script
a little bit.
We practiced this.
Wait. This isn't what it says on the paper.
We'll have to see how this will go for the Broncos, though, with that, if they'll be able to find a way to jump off what seems to be the script for the Trojans tonight, where they want to be able to take this as quickly as possible. With Supersonic jumping into the ring, it looks like it is going to be Olimar versus Terry, which will be an interesting matchup, as, if I remember correctly, one of the most frustrating things for Pikmin is a power wave.
That's true, but at the same time, Snake is a pretty big character. He can get hit by a lot of attacks.
Snake?
Snake, the last character.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm just referring to the last character. He's really easy to grab, kind of slow out of the shield. Olimar being a little bit smaller, as Pikmin are also fairly small. He might have a slight advantage when it comes to dodging Terry. As long as he can get the Pikmin he wants and keep them around for long enough to get something done, we might see I Like to Meep struggle a little bit more in this matchup. And I think I know why I was calling him Calamari, because that's the name he's using in the bottom left for his player icon.
Yeah, as we get into it, though, we can see Boise State trying their best to hold back Terry, and before they can get any massive combos in, Terry does manage to land one, but we're right back to the Pikmin throwing. If you are going to get tired of the sound effect, well, I hate to break it to you, but we might be here a while, as Olimar is able to avoid any nasty attacks from the ledge guard here, going back into the middle, using those Pikmin to kind of create this good defense here, knocking him back, not trying to throw them as much. Good DI there, avoiding any potential knockout. It could have been a problem, but Boise State is able to hang on, though the next attack could be the end, as we see Terry is trying to look for that opening. The Trojans want that knockout if possible. They want to take anything they can before Terry goes down here. We'll have to see if it happens as they launch him into the air. Not much Boise State can do to avoid that one, as their stock will be lost.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate stock loss for Olimar, losing one of his purples, but he is able to get one back right off the spawn. As long as he's able to take Terry down here, he might be able to do a little bit of damage control, maybe get a few on the next player, but with the purple spike! One stock later than he might have liked, but at the same time, it's better than a full stock loss. Olimar manages to take Terry down a peg.
Well, great read there from the Broncos, able to see where Terry was going and recognizing that the best thing you can do is get that down air out and knock him away. And for that, Boise State is able to get the just really rough Terry out of the way. But with two characters on the board up against three, Boise State will have to be very careful, especially considering we know that they don't get to pick the next opponent. The opponent only gets the advantage here, knowing that it's an Olimar that they'll be facing.
That's true. So that really begs the question, are they going to send in Kirby against Olimar? Because
Can Kirby eat the Pikmin?
I think he actually can eat the Pikmin.
Well,
but with his inhale ability, his B, where he gains the neutral special, I don't think he does anything with that ability. Because Olimar's regular special is to pluck the Pikmin out of the ground. So
I feel like
but
Kirby
then
can.
but then Kirby, if he plucks the Pikmin, he can't throw him because that's Olimar's side special. And it would conflict with Kirby's hammer. So
Maybe. I have not seen a Kirby and Olimar matchup in a while, so I'm a little rusty on how that exactly works.
you don't know every matchup?
I don't play this competitively. I love watching the game, but yeah, at least in this current moment, I can't remember what it actually does, but I mean, we'll find out if it is a Kirby. You know, this is all based on the idea that this is Kirby and not Joker or Jigglypuff.
And I mean, we've seen how deadly Jigglypuffs can be in the past. Same with Jokers. And into a more floaty character like Olimar, it might be what Joker needs in order to get some stuff done, get some combos going, and overall, just a stab.
I mean, I could see a good place for Joker being here. I mean, going up against, you know, Mewtwo later down the line, that's not as fun of a spot for Joker to be, but to get some stocks off of Olimar might be the better play.
I mean, really, for all of these characters, Mewtwo isn't a great character to go up against.
Well, one of
Mewtwo
them's a Pokemon, so at least they know. Wait, what's the types?
Well, Jigglypuff is a
we've talked
normal
about
fairy.
this.
Well, Jigglypuff's a normal fairy type, and Mewtwo's a pure psychic.
We talked about this last time, because
yeah.
we were like, which version of Jigglypuff are we, like, basing this off
I'd
of?
imagine it's based off of Scarlet Violet Jigglypuff, and thank goodness it's not Screamtail, otherwise it would be meta, but we are going into the Kirby matchup, and
I guess maybe we'll find out.
Hey, Calamari, if anybody around you is watching the stream, please use your inhale.
We'd love a question answered,
we would
please.
love to have a question answered, because that would be really fun. Emote if you can hear us.
I mean, they're going to emote. They emote at the beginning of the battle. That's what you do. You always taunt. But jumping right into it, Olimar into the fray, throwing the Pikmin left and right here, not letting Kirby gain any ground.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Really good ledge control here with the Pikmin just getting that chip damage on, which is a great character for Kirby. Well, actually, it's a great character for Olimar. For Kirby, not so much here.
Yeah, doing what Terry was doing in the first 2 rounds. Olimar getting a little bit of comeuppance for his teammates. Kirby kind of struggling to shake these Pikmin. He can't swallow them and gain the ability of Olimar to pluck Pikmin out of the ground, I guess. But there we go, starting to find a few combos, taking the control a little bit away from Olimar, but not for very long before he manages to regain control. Oh, big damage out of Olimar onto the Kirby. Not quite enough to kill. Unfortunately, it wasn't with the purple. Otherwise, that might have been a KO. But the up throw, that's going to get it done.
With that, Boise State is able to take their first stock, with the Trojans getting theirs a little bit earlier, keeping the matchup even in this battle, but not for the Broncos. Actually, wait, no, Boise State was down a stock. I'm going crazy. Boise State got their stock, holding on to their first one here. Oh,
great read out of Kirby.
Ooh, rough spot for the Broncos, losing another stock down to, they're 5 here.
Yeah, 5 to 8. The Trojans are up 1 whole character.
I don't think it's 4 to 8 because it's Olimar and Mewtwo. So with that though, Boise State is in a rough position. If Olimar goes down, they are out of backup, and it will be down to Model to hold the line. So Boise State, knowing that, is going to hold on their very best and try and get as many stocks off of this Kirby if possible, and maybe take the matchup. But Kirby taking some notes out of the playbook of the Broncos here, definitely wanted to hold onto that ledge and not really give any ground. Yep, this is just the battle of the chip damage here. Kirby does have some powerful attacks, but nowhere near some of the other characters, as both of them are looking for their opportunities to punish. You know, I will say, we don't often get to see the camera this zoomed in on a match, so it's kind of nice with the 2 small characters. We get to actually see the scenery behind them as they are going back-to-back brawl for the stocks here.
Now, the thing is about this stage with the background characters I don't get is they have the New Horizons Animal Crossing villagers on the 3DS map. And that answers your question. Kirby can eat the Pikmin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they are, in the lore, they're called Pikmin.
That grab could be deadly.
Big grab out of Kirby! And that's going to end the game. Olimar goes down. Kirby only loses 1 stock in the process. And we are going into the final character for Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State. Mewtwo for Mata here, or another character depending on how they feel, is we've seen them play a couple different options. We'll have to see which character they choose to go into this. They do have to go up against a Kirby. My pronunciation of everything tonight is just slightly off. Why? Who knows? But anyway, a Kirby, a Jigglypuff, and a Joker, which is a very tall order, but not impossible. If we do go for the Mewtwo play, I mean, there has been some pretty powerful hits from that character. And I mean, we've seen some really good knockouts in the previous matchup we watched during the last stream. So not out of the wood, like not out of the game, but not out of the woods either.
Yeah, into the forest, or out of the forest, but not quite out of the woods. We did see Terry. He got two characters all on his own. So it's perfectly understandable that Mata could get 2 on his own as well. He just has to do the same thing that Terry did with a little bit more pressure put on them. And honestly, this is probably the best set of characters to do it if you are going to play a heavy character like Mewtwo. You don't take as much knockback. You're going to be hitting those small characters a lot harder. We've seen Kirby, and we've seen Jigglypuff, and we've seen Joker. All of them are characters that really thrive off of the sort of, not really hit and run, but I'm going to chip at you until just my base damage will get the confirmed knockout on you. And I feel like that's where they would like to be, but on a character like Mewtwo who can block attacks, but they're not going to play Mewtwo, they're going to play Richter. But you know, my point still stands. It's a heavy character that hits like a truck.
Having the option of the axe. Wow. I should just like stop talking and like let you talk, because apparently I can't speak at all tonight. But again, the axe, the holy water, the good old ball on chains with the whip. It just gives a lot of range, a lot of versatility. The axe hits hard if you can land it. For the small characters, might be a little bit harder to pull off, but at the same time, if you do land it, that's a great knockout. And we have seen Holy Water plus anything else is such a nasty combo on ledge.
It's like PK Fire on steroids. You can't spam it, but at the same time, it does so much damage that...
It's a great, like, stall someone in a spot to knock them out type of move, yeah.
And the thing is about the axe, too, is that you're not really finding kills off of the axe alone. The axe is more of, oh,
it's a
crap.
Finisher
It's more of a, oh, crap. I can't dodge forward because of the axe, and I can't go back because of the cross, and I can't stay here because of the whip. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Gives you a lot of options as we get ready to get into it. Richter will not have to reset, but Calamari will, going down to
2 stocks.
2 stocks. As we get ready to go into it, we can already see, oh, I completely forgot about the cross as, it, you know, the boomerang potential and that slide. Overall, a lot of really good control moves that we already see the Broncos using to the best of their ability. Oh, good combo with the Holy Fire there, bringing Kirby to the ledge. And now the ledge game begins once again, as we've seen before. Just that absolute control on field, deny the movement if possible, that Kirby is going to have to consistently deal with here. But so far, with that one misstep on the Holy Fire, the Trojans are able to get to the other side of the map, but might not be able to do much. They're kind of just getting zoned out right now by Richter.
There's just so many attacks that cover so much of the stage. Not quite as much room to work with as a Min-Min might give you, but you trade out a lot of that range for a ton of damage. But Kirby slowly making up the difference in percentile, but at the same time, already almost up to 100. He's in a very odd spot. Richter can almost take out Kirby from this spot with just about any of his attacks, especially
if we see one of those combos on ledge, that could be a knockout there, as we've seen happen in the past. The axe goes out to try and create some space. The Holy Fire with the whip isn't going to be the knockout they're looking for, but it is going to be a potential dampener here, as we see, once again, the ledge guard going through.
Oh, but he's able to dodge out of it.
Got a great read there to know not to go straight up, because that would have been the stock here, and instead the Trojans put the Broncos on a back foot here, bringing them to the ledge. Now Kirby trying to do a little bit of the same, but to no avail here. Now they just got to dodge the axe and the fire and really everything once again.
Oh, got caught in the Holy Fire, but not for long enough, but he gets hit on the way down. He's just been taking chip damage, which hasn't been enough to kill.
The damage is racking up, though, and also a Kirby on 189 is insane.
Oh, the snipe with the axe!
What was that?
From downtown, Steph Curry makes the three-pointer and takes Kirby down a stock. What a throw.
with that, Boise State hasn't lost the stock and is still in a fairly comfortable position, though Kirby could get the knockout if they're not careful. Boise State now just needs to take that last stock here. If they manage to do it before the knockout, then they could be going into the next round with all 3 stocks intact. We'll just have to see here as the Trojans. Oh, there's the combo we were looking for. Whoa. Fire plus whip. I mean, there's not much to say other than it does the work. But honestly, props to Calamari for lasting till like, what was it, 189, I think, when the axe hit, which also don't know if that was intentional or not from
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was intentional. You see, they used
calculated the trajectory.
Trajectory of the axe. They knew how far Kirby was going to go.
That he was going to air dodge that way, obviously.
Because, I mean, if I was going to play Kirby, that's what I would have done. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have done that now because, like, it didn't work. I would have dodged the other way, obviously.
maybe not, but, yeah. With that, though, this is a really good spot going forward for the Broncos here. Now that they've been able to get through one character, just a matter of continuing that momentum. Keeping every stock you can means that a 6 stocks versus 3 stocks is a lot more comfortable getting through that first character. Because honestly, that can be a deal breaker for a lot of teams. Getting that first character is really hard to get through sometimes. Not even just like based on stocks, but just wanting to warm up and not really throw it off.
Yeah, because you're playing against a player that's already warmed up against another player. You are the last line of defense, and that's going to weigh on your mental a little bit. But now that you've gotten past the first hurdle, there's still 2 more to climb. We've seen it done before in this round. We just got to see if it'll be closed off the same way it started. And the real question is, Jigglypuff or Joker? Which J would you choose?
Oh, yeah, it's J or J? Well,
the joke or the jig?
Jig and the joke?
The jig and the joke. That sounds like a Monty Python skit.
It does, doesn't it?
It's like a bard.
I think. Well, it looks like the
jig.
It's been answered for us. It is going to be the Jigglypuff first. Kind of hold that defense. Ooh, got the parry off there. Well, the perfect block onto the attack, which is exactly what you want to see if you are the Trojans here. Not really giving Richter a lot of room to work with. Something that Jigglypuff can do very well. They're scarily fast for everything you see with this Pokemon. I mean, not necessarily that you expect them to be slow, but it's just shocking how crazy some of their moves can be and the combos that they can pull off. And we see that here. Well, although the Broncos are able to get the damage advantage off right now, Jigglypuff is looking for those close-range attacks and so far succeeding in keeping up the pressure onto the team. Oh, that was nasty. Tried to go for the rest, but it didn't work out. However, we are going to go to the ledge game here. Richter trying to find that knockout potential. Jigglypuff getting fairly close. This can be that zone here. One stray axe or a fire combo could be it for the Jigglypuff here.
Yeah, this Jigglypuff, the defense stat is not super high. Really light character, can die to just about everything in Richter's kit. However, he's got to hit him with something that's not a chip damage source. A cross won't do it, but a whip shot might. But this Jigglypuff playing it in the spot where they know they can't get, or they can avoid a lot of the attacks being presented, but not the back air. Going to deal a lot of damage, not quite enough to knock out. Out goes the Holy Fire.
Dodges it though. Oh, this is so close. One good hit. That's all the Broncos need is one good hit. But they're going to get thrown off the ledge instead. Jigglypuff going for the ledge guard and saying no to Richter today. They're not going to get that immediate knockout. And they want it. Oh, the recovery failure is going to go through for Boise State, and they're going to lose their first stock. However,
quick to return it though.
Quick revenge there for the stock. Just going to grab and throw Jigglypuff off the stage.
Get out of here.
It's like, I'm done. Nuh-uh. But we're going to reset percentages-wise here, and although the Broncos have lost one of their precious stock, they have taken one away from the Trojans here. We'll have to see who's able to get the upper hand in this next round. So far, it was looking to be the Trojans, but the Broncos are coming through once again, using that range to the advantage of the team right now.
Starting to see a little bit of a pattern that we saw with Kirby. A lot of chip damage being put out, but nothing to quite seal the deal. Tons of damage from crosses, but that's not going to secure you the kill, but the Morning Star is going to get you pretty close. Holy Fire comes out, doesn't quite trap Jigglypuff like Mata would have wanted, but at the same time, it's forcing Jigglypuff off. Once again, Jigglypuff nearing 100%, but you just gotta, they just have to secure that final kill. They have to secure that final hit that would get them a kill.
Now we see here Holy Fire going out once again, but Jigglypuff much wiser to the idea of that combo and not wanting to let it go through, forcing a much slower game here. We see
Perfect read out of Jigglypuff.
Such a
and then returned immediately.
Oh, wow, that's insane. Boise State down to their last stock of the game. Jigglypuff going toe-to-toe right now. Though they're down to their last stock, they know that this is a lot worse for the Broncos than it is for them here. But they want to be able to close it out if possible, and the Broncos know that, trying to go for the best damage combos that they can here on the ledge, keeping Jigglypuff at bay. Because as we've seen before, when Jigglypuff gets close, the damage does rack up.
Yeah, Jigglypuff also has a ton of, not real ranged options, but just a ton of options that'll get her around everything. Several jumps, I think 7, the same amount of that Kirby has. And one of the best aerial games in this whole game as a whole. Just being able to get people down into uncomfortable positions, almost taking Richter another stock off. But once again, Jigglypuff finds themselves at 100, or nearing that anyways. But can Richter find the kill this time before succumbing to an unfortunate rest, a sleep they did not want to take?
Ooh. Those slide combos from Richter are really fun to watch, and they are putting in the work here. Jigglypuff trying to avoid getting anywhere near the stage. They know exactly what Boise State is looking for here, and they're able to deny it, bringing it to the other side of the map. Once again, this has been a dangerous spot for the Broncos, but they're able to avoid it. Jigglypuff going back up into the air. This could be the knockout, but they avoid the Holy Fire. The Broncos on the ledge once again, getting past the ledge guard, but getting launched up into the air as well. Both over 100%. There is some the grab will be the knockout for Boise State. They're not out of it yet.
Second stop found with the grab.
Here we are. Also, yeah, I mean, just goes to show how light your character is if you can eventually be grabbed and knocked out. Granted, that also is because of the stage. That is one of the widest stages in the game, so naturally it's an easy knockout point to throw someone from. But with that in mind, Boise State has 1 stock to try and take this. They have 3 stocks to take off of Joker. Tall order, indeed.
Tall order, but not an impossible one. We've seen the Joker has weaknesses that can be exploited. Constant pressure really puts him on edge. And really, Simon or Richter and Joker aren't all that different. They both play at a little bit safer until the moment comes. Just the moment is different for both characters. For one, it's, oh, you got trapped in fire. Here's a mace to the face.
Right, yeah.
And then Joker is, oh, you're challenging me, Dio pose, and then run you down with the persona.
Yeah, but I do think that, you know, the unfortunate thing for Joker here is that Arsene, as strong as it is, can be easy to avoid if you're really good at tag. So anyone who was a tag master, you know, earlier, you know, when we were all younger and playing that in the playground. Oh, don't do this again. But you know, when you were, you know, anyone who's a tag master, just Joker's it.
Yeah.
Just don't get hit.
Don't get hit.
Don't get hit, and then you're fine. Yeah. No
or
tags.
you could just deal enough damage to where
you
just
knock them out.
snap
Yeah,
them away.
which is. Oh, that's one of the most painful things for a Joker player. Like, anytime I've seen someone play Joker and they've been, you know, just knocked out before they can do anything with Arsene, that's just one of the saddest moments. Like, you're waiting for this moment, and then...
No.
Gone.
You can't do that.
Done. Yeah.
Although, I do want to kind of roll it back to the last round where several of the kills on Jigglypuff were grabs. I don't know why, but my brain kept going to that one scene from Toy Story 2. Oh... I don't want to play with you anymore.
I mean, I don't really blame Mata for the way... After the rest KO, totally fair.
Yeah, totally understandable.
Understandable.
I'm surprised it wasn't 3 throws.
you know, you can only ask for so much, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're only going to get so many of those. Also, that typically just means that Jigglypuff was being such a pain in the game of tag.
We got a switch.
To Sam. We haven't seen Sam.
To
No, different player,
Lino.
got it. Oh, okay, so we've got a potential Samus coming up. Okay, so not
Samus.
Joker. Samus. Range and range. You know, that makes sense that we might be seeing a little bit of a range swap up here.
Thing is,
Been a while.
Samus has a distinct advantage when it comes to range, though, because, I mean, Richter's got quite a few ranged options. He's got the
she does
cross,
just
he's
have a
got the
straight-up
ass.
blaster.
I mean, Samus just has a gun.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, so does Joker, but, like, it's not a very powerful
different type.
gun.
Yeah, different type of.
His is a BB gun.
Alien versus, you know, like Alien future tech versus modern day, you know. That's going to. You would assume it would, you know, make a difference for that. And it does seem to do so for Samus. I mean, yeah, in general, you've got the missiles, you've got the other abilities. You've got
the missile, the plasma launcher, you got the tether.
There we go. The tether.
You got the bombs that you can.
Bombs. You jump up into your little circle.
You got the corkscrew jump. That. Samus has a lot to work with. I'm surprised we haven't honestly seen more Samus in these games.
Well, we'll have to see if it will make the difference for the Trojans here. Or if Mata will be able to take this for the Broncos. This is going to determine the first round and who will be able to gain the advantage in this best of 3. Broncos right now on the back foot, but they have shown more than possible to be able to take this back. So will the Trojans be able to stop them? We're about to find out as the first missile gets launched. Looking to try and charge up some attacks, though. Going for a couple of backers as well. We go to the ledge once, like already here. Setting up those bombs, trying to gain some control, but so far it is going to be the name of the game is the control of the field and who's going to be able to get it. So far, although Samus has more damage, Richter has been getting a lot of projectiles out.
Yeah, lots of projectiles going out. Samus has just been able to get a few more off than what Richter would have really liked to see here. Both characters are at around the same percent, but Samus is in a lot more comfortable position when faced with that dilemma. 3-1 is not a very great spot to be. You need to get that damage piled on and quick. You cannot let anybody get a significant lead on you, because even if you get one stock, you're down for the next one.
You know, and we're speaking of one stock, unfortunately for Boise State, they're already fairly high in the damage on their last one here. Gonna have to be careful here on ledge. Samus putting on the pressure here. Great read from Boise State, but they're not going to be able to stay on the base for long. That bomb could be dangerous, but they're able to avoid it. Great. But unfortunately, the forward air just has a lot of good range, and the Trojans are going to be able to take the first matchup in this best of 3. But honestly, hard-fought battle for the Broncos here.
Yeah, 5 stocks taken by Mata.
That is a really good amount to be able to take. I mean, that is an onslaught overall that you have to be able to go up against, and asking anyone to take more than a character is already a lot. So being able to do that
almost
as the last player is impressive. Yeah.
Or, actually, no, he did take 2 characters, but 2 characters worth of stocks.
Yeah, 2 characters worth of stocks. But with that, the Broncos are not going to be able to take the first. The Trojans will be able to get it. But this is the first of this best of 3. And so going forward, they will be able to, you know, strategize, figure out what they can do better to handle this matchup. And the Trojans are not out of the woods yet, as we were talking about earlier. They might have to deal with a rout from the Broncos, who now know a lot more about how this opponent is playing.
Yeah, it is a best of 3. So USC in a good spot to win it outright, but at the same time, Boise State is far from out of contention. I do think Sephiroth was the right play in the first place. Just a little bit unfortunate how it ended off. If you really do think about it, if Sephiroth did take out Terry, I think that game would have turned out a lot differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the big hurdle for the Broncos here, is that Terry just was able to catch them off guard, and with the amount of just power he had at the end there, well, not just at the end, throughout all of the matches that he played, it really put the Broncos in a tough position going forward, which they were able to rout. But as we were talking about, you know, once you get that deficit of a 3 to 4, like, yeah, anything above 2 stocks is painful and really hard to come back from, because that's a character and something more. And so now you're having to try and fight more than you typically would want to be fighting overall. And so now we are back on that even playing field, with the Broncos wiser to how that might go. We're going to start it off early. Looks like both teams showing their last players first. Samus going to be rematching against Mata here, but with Mewtwo instead of the Richter.
A little bit of a revenge match. Two characters that have relatively similar kits when you really think about it. Both have really strong range projectiles. They can't both reflect, but they both have abilities that can affect projectiles. But from the looks of things, Samus is just playing this spaced out perfectly. Mewtwo hasn't really been able to get in and get any sort of meaningful damage in.
I'm not necessarily surprised by the pick. The range versus the range is a really good spot to be. Unfortunately, Samus is just putting on the damage here, hit after hit, and able to get the first stock off of the Broncos here. Now just at 11% on their own stock.
Ooh.
And racking up the damage once again. We were talking about it. The blasts that Samus can shoot off are just so nasty if they manage to connect.
Yeah, they're rounded out by being relatively hard to fire off. They charge up really slow, and they can be really easily interrupted. But at the same time, they do so much damage it more than makes up for it. Plus, you have the option to use missiles. You have your Samus has arguably one of the best dash attacks in the game. It's got an amazing final hit. It's a three-hit attack, and overall, you get caught in it, and you're going to take some serious damage. Both players are around similar percentage here, but Mewtwo noticeably struggling to get anything off on this Samus here, even one hit.
Yeah, however, the damage is going up. Once again, fairly even, but not where the Broncos want to be, as they get thrown right back off the ledge onto that ledge guard position, trying to avoid getting hit. The teleport from Mewtwo, they're able to get back to the middle of the stage, but get caught by the fully charged up blast from Samus there. Always rough when you forget that might be in the back pocket, as we see Mewtwo preparing to launch one of their own. Not able to connect, as the Samus is able to shield here. Trojans in a fairly comfortable spot, though their stock might be able to be taken out. They have to be careful if they want to be able to go into this completely, well, relatively unscathed, I suppose. And they are putting up a good show for it. Mewtwo not able to hold on, really finding any room to connect. And they're with the read on the jump up. Trojans will be able to take the first matchup again with a 3-0 on the knockout. Unfortunately for them, Mewtwo was not going to be the solution as they get ready to go into this next matchup. It might not be the Terry this time that will be the problem for them.
Yeah, I think Boise is just really running into some problems with their matchups here. I do think Mewtwo was the right call going into Samus. We did see how good that Samus was into those rushdown type characters, and overall, having another character that can control the stage really well is a really great thing. The issue is with Samus, though, is that Samus has the ability to run you down if you are not careful. Mewtwo has a really good throw. He's got some really good abilities as well. However, they're not really great if you're getting bounced around. And I think that Samus has a dark typing when using that the black alt skin, so that type matchup might have hurt since Pokemon as well.
Yeah, you never know, right? But with that, we'll be jumping into the next matchup. The question will be who's going to go. It does look like Supersonic is going to go ahead and attempt to take on this Samus. With their performance earlier on in the matchups, I do think that they'll probably be one of the better ones to go up for this fight with just the roster that we have right now. If they can get enough Pikmin on the line, they could be able to chip damage through the Samus, and being a lot smaller, they're not going to get hit as, well, you would hope.
Sacrifice the Pikmin to destroy the Samus.
I mean, how many times have we heard the noise of them being chucked, destroyed, and replucked from the ground? Is that you?
Yeah.
Don't start it before we get into the matchup. We'll be hearing it plenty later tonight as we're getting ready to go into this. Yeah, it makes sense why the Samus was one of their anchor characters. Well, is their anchor character, presumably, most of the time. They've been able to hold the line fairly well, and that is going to be a great asset for the Trojans, and unfortunately a bad spot for the Broncos.
You know,
here.
I wouldn't be surprised if Terry was one of their regular
Yeah.
anchors as well.
I mean, if you can have a couple anchors, people that you're comfortable having go up, it's really good if you can start off strong and have a strong end game. So having 2 players that can do that is actually just genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, because if you only have one, it's like, oh no, how are we going to get past the first one? And you get all the way to the last one, and then it's like, oh no, we have one person left. But it's definitely one of the better things to have, especially if they're playing 2 different types of characters like we're seeing here. Samus, wildly different than Terry. And most of the time, you're going to use your Terry counters to counter Samus, so that way you just don't have the ability to counter Terry.
Yeah, I mean,
It takes a
if you're able to
number out of
waste
the
the
equation.
resources there, it's going to be a rough time. And, you know, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if the Mewtwo came out to try and deal with the Terry, but unfortunately for them, it wasn't Terry. It was, in fact, a Samus waiting on the battlefield for the Boise State Broncos.
Lying in wait, ready to spring a trap.
Yeah, I mean,
Even though Samus isn't Solid Snake, they did a pretty good job at springing that trap.
that is like one of the fun things and scary things about playing these crew battles is you don't know who your opponent is picking until you actually get into the matchup. So you're completely guessing on who might actually be there, which means for the very first matchup between the 2 teams, it's a complete guessing game. Like, you know, once someone's been knocked out, you know what your opposing team is playing, but the opposing team won't know you, so they have to try generally guess. But for that first one, it means a lot because if someone, you know, if you get the guess wrong on what they might bring, then that means you could lose a huge advantage that you could have gotten if you were right. And with that, we're going to be jumping into this matchup. Olimar versus Samus. The ranged projectiles of energy versus, well, we've talked about this before, technically everything is energy, but it's Pikmin versus ranged attacks, and we can already see the Pikmin putting in the work. Samus getting hit by a barrage of these little guys that Olimar has brought to the battlefield to assist him. Not wanting to let that last for long, though, Olimar is going to be knocked off onto the ledge, looking for the ledge guard with the bomb, but Olimar is ready, moving away and avoiding.
Sacrifices the blue Pikmin to the
That's unfortunate. He helps with the throws upwards, but that's okay for now because Purple Pikmin is here and ready to give some damage output to Olimar.
Purple Pikmin is here and ready to show why he broke Pikmin 2 when it first came out. But that is all assuming that Purple Pikmin actually gets the connection before perishing himself. Samus has a very powerful projectile and it can do a ton of damage, but when you're off the map that far,
You don't
that
want to
could
do
have been
that.
bad. But now there's 2 Purple Pikmin.
One of them
on
has a
the
flower
field.
as well, so that's even scarier.
Not quite. He's at a bud.
Oh,
but
that's
you're pretty
right. Oh, wait,
quick.
no, there's a flower.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's got a flower.
I know what I was talking about.
Oh, no.
Obviously, you know.
Yeah, totally. I missed it. But we also just missed Samus getting smacked by the Purple Pikmin, taking Samus down their first stock. And Olimar's yet to lose one.
Don't say it like that. You might cast or curse it, but so far so good. Olimar jumping off the ledge, avoiding the attack, but is going to get launched in the air with the percentages we're at. Anything goes for Samus, and Olimar knows that, but luckily is able to avoid the most dangerous of attacks. Gets hit by the back, but rolling into the bomb into the ranged attack there. Boise State is going to lose their first stock in this matchup.
Wombo combo. Apparently the artificial projectiles are a little bit better than the natural ones, but at the same time, Samus already up to 55. Olimar does tank a shot to the face, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for Samus to safely rush down the Olimar. Olimar playing
so far,
this a
so
little bit
good.
safer, but now
There we go.
down off the ledge.
This could be a dangerous position once more for Samus with the Purple Pikmin on standby. I mean, you can see how much damage it adds to any attack that Olimar chooses to use.
From the ledge!
Great attack from
Wow.
Ledge is going to be the stock for Samus here. Olimar able to hold on. Great position for the Broncos here if they're able to hold it. Just going to have to be careful using the Pikmin to get a couple attacks off. Spin to win as well, launching Samus into the air. Using a bomb to create some space, the Trojans are able to get back to the ground, but not for long. Olimar bringing it to the ledge and going for that ledge guard back and forth here, using the platforms to their advantage to avoid any attacks. The Trojans at 107 and Boise State holding on at 76. This could
Oh, he gets it!
There we go. Boise State holding on and able to keep pace with the Trojans for a bit longer here. Only 1 stock difference. Great job there from Supersonic.
That was probably the best thing they could have asked for there too.
You could see him like holding
yeah.
his breath at the end there too. That was, I mean, that's one of those stressful matchups that you're like, please, I just need to, I can't lose 1 more stock, because you don't want to be at 1 stock. 2 stocks makes sense, but getting down to 1 stock puts you in such a dangerous spot. But now, Broncos have brought this back. Yeah,
they brought it back definitely. Going into a 2v3 stock-wise is far from impossible to win out. We've seen it happen before. I mean, we just saw it now. Even if he comes out with 1 stock down, that still puts Boise State up 1 stock in the matchup. And now it puts a lot of pressure on USC to put in the next one. While they are still ahead, they got to maintain that lead, and who are they going to entrust to keep it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Olimar did have a really good performance against a couple of the characters on the roster here. I believe, let's see, it was Kirby and Terry were the 2 that Olimar and, well, Supersonic went up against, and with both of them had a very good showing. So, you know, the only player that he hasn't fought at this point is going to be the Jigglypuff, so either go for the surprise, someone they haven't played yet, or see if maybe that round 2 can work out in their favor. I wouldn't be shocked if they leave Terry for later. He's probably the anchor this time around, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's impossible if they want to try and stop Boise State from a potential snowball back into their direction.
Yeah, cut the brakes early, so that way the momentum still goes in their favor. And you know, that actually might be a good strategy to go with, especially going up against Olimar. If you can just run him down before anything happens, then you cut all of his momentum. But at the same time, we've seen Olimar do very well into Terry. I believe it was him who took the final stock off of Terry.
He was the one who took the final stock off of Terry, but...
So maybe there's a little bit of PTSD, the P standing for Pikmin.
Pikmin traumatic stress disorder?
Yes.
PTSD? I mean, with the amount of Pikmin that can be, like, thrown at someone and then they just have to deal with them being attached and that's all they can, you know, have happen sometimes. I can see it, you know, if you're like, not the Pikmin, not again. I don't want to be chased by the horde.
Imagine if you could have more than 3 Pikmin though, because like in the Pikmin games you can have 20 of each kind of Pikmin.
Yeah, you can have a lot of Pikmin.
Yeah, so you have 20 purples, 20 whites, 20 blues, 20 reds, 20 yellows.
All I ever see is Pikmin on the screen.
You know, all you hear is just the Pikmin throw sound for the entire game. And
as they're just...
when they inevitably meet a tragic end.
That also means like a bunch of them will get hit at the same time, so then it's like all of them like getting knocked out, all their little spirits going up the screen. Like, would you even be seeing the game at that point?
It would be kind of funny, though.
Smash Bros. Didn't let Olimar have 20 of each kind, not for balance, but for the sake of being able to actually see the game.
Imagine the frame rate drop, too, if that was to happen. But here we go into the unexpected pick from the side of the Trojans in the Jigglypuff, the one character Olimar hasn't seen.
Yeah. And I mean, Olimar has faced some Jigglypuff before. This is not unfamiliar, but this specific player is. As we get into it, we can see the Pikmin go flying as per usual. As the goal is to try and get as many of those Pikmin onto the Jigglypuff as they can, but both of them are going to be pretty flighty, jump around, knockout characters here, and they'll have to be careful of each other's strategies as Jigglypuff is fairly good at just kind of spinning you off the ledge and to your doom.
Jigglypuff is the queen of spin to win.
I know we say spin to win a lot, but it's just Jigglypuff. That's the main one.
Yeah, and you know, maybe Link too, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair, depending on the Link.
Yeah, or like Breath of the Wild Link.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild Link has a spin to win, though Jigglypuff definitely gets those knockouts off of it. Not right now, though. The Broncos holding strong at 48, while Jigglypuff is sitting at 133. Although with some characters this could have been a really bad knockout spot. Olimar can definitely do it, but it's a little bit safer with these 2 lighter attack characters here, though the Trojans will not want to take it easy. Holding their breath here if they're going to lose the stock, holding down that middle point. Looking for any opportunity to try and take the Broncos off guard, but it's to no avail. With the purple and the blue Pikmin, they've got a pretty good arsenal for anything that they might see that with the throw, as blue Pikmin does in fact make those stronger. And with that is able to take the first stock.
They get the rest, but he misses.
He misses the rest. That's a good moment for... This is exactly what I was talking about. Jigglypuff. Big fan of just launching you off the ledge. It's such a painful move to get a knockout on, but unfortunately for the Broncos, that is going to be...
Ooh, gets the... he got it on the rest. Got the throw off.
Good. Ooh, that could have been dangerous, but luckily for the Broncos, they're able to hold on here. Once again, we have the two small characters going up against each other, so we really get to zoom in on that stage here and see exactly what both of them are doing. Watching that ledge game, once again, Jigglypuff deciding not wanting to partake in any of that, going into the next kind of bout of attacks, getting launched into the air by Olimar, and with that blue Pikmin in their arsenal, this could be a dangerous spot, but Olimar taking it to the ledge with Jigglypuff here.
Yeah, I will.
Might be a dangerous ledge game, but it is working out a little bit. It could be a potential.
Oh! Chased off
Exactly.
the edge by Jigglypuff.
Yeah. Got to be careful playing the ledge game with Jigglypuff. As we've seen, all it can take is one hit to the side for that knockout to occur. And with that, Olimar is going to go down, leaving Boise State with 2 characters left and USC with 3, though Jigglypuff is down a stock. Now, it's not, you know, the best advantage for the Broncos, but it is something. And now they're going to be going into it with, it looks like, Sephiroth.
Yeah, I think Sephiroth would be the better pick into this one. Jigglypuff is just such a floaty character, and with Sephiroth, you hit so hard at such a long distance. It's almost like Min Min. You don't expect someone of that caliber to hit as hard and as far as they do. Plus, Sephiroth has a lot of really good back onto the ledge options. He's got his up special, which is omnidirectional, goes any way you want it to. It hits somewhat onto the stage. He's got his spells, which have the 3 layers, and they can deal tons of damage if they hit. He's got the Skittles of Doom, because nobody likes the purple Skittles. They're just inferior to the rest of them, and I mean, am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm not the Skittle enjoyer. Well, I'm not a Skittle enjoyer in my friend group. You'd have to ask. Like, I like them, but I'm not like so opinionated on Skittles because they're too sweet.
Okay.
They hurt my teeth, unfortunately.
Okay.
I cannot have as many Skittles as I would like. Those Skittles are big in my friend group.
Do you partake in M&Ms?
Sometimes. Actually, not so much anymore because it's milk chocolate. But I will say with Skittles, my father does buy bags of them for my friend group because my friends are obsessed with them. So, you know, I am a fan of Skittles. Purple Skittles? They are in the bag, but, you know, Skittles are Skittles. However, it's not going to be Sephiroth. It is going to be Palutena, which, as we've seen with the Doctor, is
tends to be the staple.
Is the staple. And a pretty potent character as we get ready to get into this matchup here.
Am I the only one? So with this
Nothing's going
matchup,
on. Don't worry about it. As we get into the matchup, nothing's happening in the arena right now. Yeah, jumping back into this matchup, we see Jigglypuff getting in close, dangerous position for Palutena here as they get knocked off.
Oh, the read!
But the read is going to delay them a little bit. However, they are able to get to the other side, climbing back up onto the ledge. They'll have to be careful here in this middle game, but they do get the grab off the Broncos. Then comboing it, are able to take the stock. Wow, good play, good reads there from both sides, but the Broncos are able to come out on top so far, getting that damage that they really need in onto the Jigglypuff here. This could be a stock loss, but they're able to get past it, and the read does not go through for Jigglypuff this time around.
Oh, but that one does go through with the side special, taking down Palutena to 2. Jigglypuff has kept the stock lead for the Trojans, and overall, if they are able to just find a few more stocks, the Trojans will be pretty ship-shape. But at the same time, Palutena is not looking to let that happen. Really good close combat game and can deal a ton of damage really fast. But as you can see right there, Jigglypuff already up to 72. Not quite the spot you want to see on these lighter characters, but there's a lot of room to work with on even some of these smaller stages.
I mean, one good combo here for Palutena could be the knockout they need. We've seen it. You get the grab off, you get the explosion, and you launch them up in the air, and that will be a knockout, but Jigglypuff isn't going to let that happen just yet. Knocking the Doctor off the ledge here. Doctor looking for their opportunity. But Jigglypuff trying to go for the combo is going to go for the teleport, but the read goes through once again. Jigglypuff knows that teleportation distance fairly well, it seems. Trojans and the Broncos saying, percentage, but this is
stage! He spiked him off the stage! What a play out of
what
Jigglypuff.
What could have been a fairly savable stock is knocked out from the Broncos. They are going to
but he does get it.
the last attack off. And with that, able to keep close. They do come back with a 2-stock deficit here, but, you know, they are keeping it within a character. So overall, good spot to be for Boise State. Not where they want to be, but not impossible to come back from.
Yeah, definitely a position that you want to be in if you want to mount a comeback. That stage spike, though, was pretty unexpected. Not only did Jigglypuff know exactly where the teleport was going to come out, but knew exactly how to counter it off the stage, so that way there was just no chance to get up. There is no counterplay to that, and Jigglypuff knew it. If I'm going down, you're going down too.
And I mean, it ends up working out as it was able to take a stock from Palutena. Now down to 1, it is up to the Doctor to get that crusade forward to try and create as much room for Gokis as possible. Or, you know, if you could take it with 1 stock, that's also, you know, a great thing to see, but definitely hard to pull off.
Yeah, especially with Palutena as well. Being able to get the characters into a position where they feel really uncomfortable is super important. And honestly, I think we're going to see Calamari come out. I don't think. I think I Like to Meep is the.
I think it's
the anchor
probably
character
the anchor this time around.
And if you want to get something done quick, you turn to Kirby. He just he gets the munchies. He gobbles people up and then he jumps off the map. It takes a stock off him, but it also makes it.
I mean, if it works, it works,
too.
right?
Yeah.
You know, and it just depends.
It's the classic DDD strat.
I will say, I don't remember exactly, but Kirby could have some trouble with Palutena just by the nature of their 2 different ability structures overall. But, you know, we'll have to see as we get ready to go into this, you know, as, you know, me, Bryce, and our good friend here are catching all the action, continuing forward to see where this goes.
Yeah, and honestly, it'll honestly come down to Gokis on the Snake, though, depending on how he plays into Ike. Or I guess Ike now, they're changing up players.
Oh, okay, we know
Crusader.
who it is. Yeah, it's going to be Ike.
It's going to be Ike, not the South Park
hello,
character.
Fire Emblem. Well, that makes sense. I feel like Kirby is going to have a
really tough go.
Yeah, I think it's not like the worst that they could be doing, but Kirby definitely doesn't have the range that you would want to go up against Palutena. And so getting, you know, instead of going from like little fisticuffs and the hammer and the little sword, you go to a character with a much larger sword and better range because of it. So. And
he uses his sword more often.
That's true.
I mean, Kirby only uses his for his up-down. Yeah, he...
I'm glad we have the same exact instinct to do the little hand motion for Kirby.
I mean, I talk with my hands. I don't know if you've noticed. I mean,
hey, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, right? And, you know, in some cases, and in this case, I would say it works out. But, yeah, I mean, Ike is going to be the one going in. Shocker, a Fire Emblem character? We never see those.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's not a lot of them,
yeah,
you know?
They've never really been good in Super Smash Bros. Wink, wink. I'm winking through the camera. You can't see it because it's not on my face. Wink, wink.
With that, Doctor is going to have to reset, going to 1 stock here as we get ready to go into the fight. Both taunts are out and the brawl will begin. Palutena getting the first couple hits off, trying to get as much damage, looking for that opportunity to punish as well. Going to have to be careful. Ike does have some good range on his attacks, and they know that. The Broncos holding on and just trying their best to keep the damage off, and so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good with Palutena, only taking a little bit of a few hits overall, and nothing really comes out of the side of Marth. A few missed grabs, but Palutena also hasn't really been able to find anything, but there we go. Pretty good hit up into the air, not really any follow-up, but Ike manages to get the grab, and now we are playing his game, trying to find a few hits here and there, but no, it's going to be Palutena getting the fireball off just a little bit before the ledge guard comes into play. So Ike is got a pretty safe recovery.
I love that Ike just has a kick there.
Yeah,
it's just a very solid kick, launching Palutena off the ledge and into the air here. Gonna have to be careful as we get across, gets away from the ledge guard. That parry goes through, but luckily no punishment of the opportunities here. Tries to go for an explosion, but it isn't going to work out for the Broncos. Any damage here could be deadly, and they know that. They don't want to get knocked out if they can help it, but it's not going to go through. And with that, Ike is going to be able to take it here. 1 character left for the Broncos here as they're getting ready to go into this. This could be everything that the University of Southern California wants in this best of 3. If they're able to take this, they will be able to win this outright, as, my good friend, the co-caster here, Bryce, was so shocked by how this is all going that this is where we're at right now. So, you're hanging out with me as we continue forward here.
Yeah, that match got me dead laughing. That Ike gameplay was pretty good.
If you want to know anything about Bryce's current thoughts, feelings, and emotional state, right there, he's speechless. Look at him.
Yeah, I'm speechless, to be honest. It was really good Palutena gameplay in the beginning, but unfortunately just wasn't quite able to stick it. Marth is kind of notorious for being one of those characters that really hits hard, and
Marth?
You can't. Or you knew who I meant.
No, don't bring up Marth. You know this. You know that you're not supposed to bring up Marth.
Okay, I take it back. I meant the Ike. The Ike, I should know this.
The Fire Emblem characters aren't that similar. Come on.
Yeah, they're super similar. They're super not similar to one another.
They have, a sword.
They got a sword. They got a cloak. They got perfectly styled hair for even though they're most of the time in the middle of war zones. Mm-hmm. They swing the sword. They got a block. Yeah. They got a guard. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of drawing a blank here, Audrey. I think I'm going brain dead too. I got one more for you. I got one more.
Yeah, what do you got?
What is a skeleton's favorite snack?
I don't know. What is it?
Spare ribs.
And as you can see, that is, kind of that's where we're at, with the casting tonight. We have been watching a lot of incredible matchups, and with that, it's brought us speechless, shaking to the very core of our bones here, as Bryce is really getting to experience the full, Super Smash Bros. Experience right now.
Can I do one more joke?
Sure. Sure, one more joke.
Why didn't the ghost go to the prom?
Why?
Because he had no body to go with. Oh!
Can I just say, great timing on that one as we jump right into the matchup. Goki's not going in with the snake, but the Mythra-Pyra combo to be able to take this potentially for the Boise State team. They will need to be able to take 6 stocks if they want to pull it off, but it's not impossible, and we'll have to see, will the Trojans be able to take this all, or will Boise State be able to come back from it? Let's get into the matchup.
And Pyra Mythra has a lot of versatility when it comes to their kit as well. You want to play it a little bit faster, you swap to Mythra. You want to hit like a truck, you play Pyra. So it really just comes down to the situation, as we see Ike taking a lot of damage here in the beginning, just like we saw last time, but we know that is very quick to be turned around on its head, as we saw with Palutena there. So very far from a bad situation for Mike, but he's actually fighting on a fair playing field this time. Or 3-3 anyway. Yeah,
3-3. Unfortunately for Boise State, they're going to have to play it like it is an unfair battlefield, as this is the last stock that they'll get if they want to be able to take it here. And it seems like they are getting
grabbed out of the up air.
Yeah, great reads there. And Boise State taking the first stock with relatively low damage. Good spot to be in, and Goki's is using that to his advantage, using Mythra to get some fast attacks in here and avoid a lot of the incredibly strong attacks from Ike.
Yeah, unfortunately the ledge guard doesn't quite go through, but at the same time they haven't really taken very much damage in any of these exchanges. Just trying to keep themselves in the game. Pyra swaps back over to Mythra, trying to get a little bit more damage, but Ike with the down throw, evening things out percent-wise, but he's still got a stock to make up. Ooh, the neutral goes through just a little too early.
Well, if anything, that was the last second Boise State had to hold on before they were going to instantly get knocked out. But with the good DI control there, they are able to avoid it. Will they be able to do it this time?
Oh, same kind of ledge.
Oh, just barely avoiding what would have been a knockout there from Ike. And with that, Boise State still holding on to that first stock.
But the dash
But it's going to go right there. Now 2-2. Ike at 86%. Boise State needs to make some headway on this stock before Ike can try to run away with this next one.
Yeah, Pyra getting a lot of damage off Ike, already past the 100 percentile, but at the same time getting a ton of damage off in the process. as long as he can find a way to get hit without getting hit himself, then he has a pretty good shot to bring this back into his favor. However, that is a lot easier said than done when going up against Pyramithra, because they can also hit extremely hard. But it does look like Ike has Pyramithra on the ropes. Gokis needs to find a way to make a little bit of space, get something done, start a combo of his own, because Ike only continues to shorten the gap, and there we go! Back special to even things out.
Now just have to be careful as possible here. The Broncos know that if they can get this one knockout without losing another stock, still in a fairly comfortable 3v2. Calamari, well, actually not Calamari, just once again throwing me off. USC wants this.
Goes.
You know, he's been fiending for it for a while. He's been wanting to use that ability to get the knockout, and it is going to be his now with that knockout going through. The Trojans have brought the Broncos down to one stock. We'll have to see here, can they get the knockout onto Ike and go into the next 1v3, or are they going to stop them right here? So far holding control in the middle, Ike is able to rack up a little bit of damage, but so far the Broncos are still in the lead. Any good hits from the Broncos could open up an opportunity for a knockout, and we see Mithra go forward, launching their side special here, and going into Pyra to try and get that stock knockout.
Yeah, but Ike being able to deal a ton of damage with just a few hits is going to be able to take Pyra up just a little bit farther. Ike, though, is at a bad spot, and there it goes. Broncos managed to get through another character, and in the exact same position they were in the last round.
Yeah, we're kind of getting a just kind of replay of exactly where we were at with the final matchup of the first round, though different characters, different overall situation. It's now going to be Terry versus Pyramithra.
Yeah, which is going to be an interesting one. You got a character that's really good at zoning people out, really good at getting a lot of really fast attacks, and then you have Terry, who can deal a lot of damage.
Hits hard like a truck and then only hits harder when the go meter goes. And the extra challenge, unfortunately, for Gokis is with one stock, they're going to have to deal with 3 go meters. That's a rough spot to be in. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. Well, that's why we're up here on the desk.
That's why we're up here and we're just going, wow, that looks rough.
That looks rough.
But that is a great place to shine as well. I mean, Pyra and Mithra have really good kits to go against that, avoid stuff like that, and deal decent damage themselves. It's just a matter of, can you get away from those combos, prevent Terry from getting any combos off on you before it's too late, because realistically speaking, that is the most dangerous thing Terry can do, is get a couple good strong hits off and then spike you down.
And then, of course, the optimal solution to all of this is to just not let Terry get to his go meter in the first place.
You just have to knock him out so fast that never happens.
Strike him down.
As soon as you're getting close to go meter, bonk. But that is a tall order to try and stop 3 times. We'll have to see if the Broncos are up to the challenge. This will be the last matchup between the two for this round. Will the Trojans be able to take it, or will the Broncos hold on to try and bring it to a best of 3, 3-4-3 here? We are going to have to reset to that final stock with both going for the taunt, getting ready to go, and the power wave goes out immediately, creating space for Terry here.
Clash goes
up
through.
Into the attacks there. We see that control for the middle, very important for both of these players as they're looking for their opportunities here.
Yeah, both players are clashing in the beginning, but Mithra did get the slight advantage, although out goes Terry with the combos, but luckily off the side, it just gives you a little bit more advantage, but at the same time, Pyramithra can't regain any of that. The slow from the parry allows Mithra to get out of that, but still, Terry is just on that ledge, not letting him get an inch, and unfortunately, the Pyra up special is not good enough. And that is going to allow USC to take this game 2-0.
Yeah, what a hard-fought victory for both, for USC. That was, although they were able to gain the advantage and hold on to it for quite a bit, Boise State did not let them go without a fight. So congratulations to the Trojans for taking the matchup, and great job from Boise State for holding on, especially in some rough spots, like losing characters just earlier on. But overall, good matchup to watch. There was a lot of good back and forth from the teams there, and it wasn't necessarily ever a complete snowball from either side.
Yeah, we saw the games play out really differently compared to each other, but in the end, it ended on the exact same note. The final characters 3-1. And that I found that kind of interesting. Both teams fought really hard to keep that. Well, obviously Boise State, Mata getting 5 stocks just to get to that final round was impressive in and of itself. But then to get to that same situation with Pyramithra was also an incredible feat for Boise State. And even though they did end up losing, there's a lot to be learned out of this, and it's something that they should be proud of to hold on for that long.
And we will get to hear a little bit of that going forward, as we're not going to end just yet. We will be doing an interview with Supersonic to hear a little bit of his thoughts on the matchup in the season so far. So we will go to the top 5 plays of the game, and when we are done, we will be back with an interview.
Be turned around on its head, as we saw with Palatena there. So very far from bad situation for Mike, but he's actually fighting on a fair playing field this time. Or 3-3 anyway.
Yeah, 3-3. Unfortunately for Boise State, they're going to have to play it like it is. If they manage to do it before the knockout, then they could be going into the next round with all 3 stocks intact. We'll just have to see here as the Trojans. Oh, there's the combo we were looking for. Fire plus is going to delay them a little bit. However, they are able to get to the other side. Climbing back up onto the ledge. They'll have to be careful here in this middle game, but they do get the grab off the Broncos, then coupling it, are able to take the stock. Wow.
Now
there we go.
Off the ledge.
This could be a dangerous position once more for Samus with the purple pigment on standby. I mean, you can see how much damage it adds to any attack that Olimar chooses to use.
From the ledge! Wrong enough, but he gets hit on the way down. He's just been taking chip damage, which hasn't been enough to kill.
The damage is racking up though, and also a Kirby on 189 is insane.
The snipe with the
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
At Blue Ribbon Painting, we're proud to be a locally family-owned and operated business dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's freshening up your home with interior or exterior painting, or tackling a commercial project, we've got you covered. When you choose Blue Ribbon Painting, you're not just hiring painters. You're getting a team that's committed to making your vision a reality. Call or text us at 208-369-2583 or visit us at blueribbonpainting.net. Your project deserves a blue ribbon finish.
It's the end of a good day's work in Idaho. Time to punch out. Time to check in and catch up. Time to remind ourselves that what we work for isn't a paycheck. It's to make the good things we have even better. So here's to your good day's work. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe money is a thing. It's not everything.
Is your IT setup held together by duct tape and hope? Don't worry, Alpine IT Group has your back. We handle on-site support, service desks, cloud management, office phone systems, mobile device management, and more. And the best part, we can fix things remotely, so you can concentrate on your clients. Call Alpine IT Group at 1-888-720-4769 or visit alpineitgroup.com today. Scaling success together and completely duct tape free.
Hello and welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena as we get ready to recap the match between Boise State and the University of Southern California. Although Boise wasn't able to take the win tonight, still a hard-fought victory, and we'll get to take some time to recap and just talk about some of the strategies and thought processes going into it. Continuing to be here with you is my, me, Audrey Norris, and I will be joined with Supersonic, one of the players who played tonight, just to kind of talk about the game and everything, how it was going on. So Supersonic, Tyler, you've been a player for us throughout this year. And, in this matchup, you definitely got put up against a couple tougher opponents for the team, having to kind of deal with some characters that weren't great matchups for the rest of the team. So what's kind of like the thought process there with that as you go into that type of stuff?
That's a really good question, actually. For leading up until this point, I feel like I've just been getting rushed down and not being able to actually do the things that I normally do. The characters that I fight are like really, really annoying for Olimar, like Joker and like Cloud and just so many other characters. And today I felt like this was the first time that I actually got to do something and prove that I am worth it. I am worth it. I can put up a fight,
I mean, you're on the Boise State team, and you've been working your butt off to help, get the matchups done that need to be done. So, anything that you can pull off, it has been good. But you did get some really good knockouts, which we can see on the screen right now. Especially a big fan of the way that you were able to get the spike onto Terry, knock him down with that. Are there any moments like that where was that kind of planned, or did you just see an opportunity and take it?
I just saw the opportunity. It's like whenever someone goes low off stage, my first instinct is to down air or back air. It's just really a 50-50 in my brain because I don't really plan things ahead of time, even though I should. It's kind of weird because Olimar is a very, very tough character to play if you're not thinking about what you could be doing and how you could be doing it. So when it came to the Terry and how I could actually stage spike, I wasn't going for the stage spike. It just happened.
Yeah, right? I mean, you're like, well, if it works, it works, right? And I mean, sometimes that's what's going to happen in a crew battle since, there's so much going on. It doesn't look like it, but there is a lot going on in a crew battle, just the back and forth. And with that, are there any, thoughts that you guys had going into this, lineups, matchups, or anything that you guys, this is a very crucial spot to pick a character?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with that Terry there. We knew about the Terry going into it. We knew it was going to be a very tough matchup, but in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't that bad to deal with. Obviously, he took out the Doc and Gokis with only losing 2 stocks. But I feel like if we actually had better planning and going into it rather more, a little bit more aggressively, I feel like we could have had a better outcome with the Terry, and especially if we actually had better characters going into it. Because going Sephiroth into Snake, it was a good matchup on paper. But as you just saw, it didn't turn out good.
I mean, Terry is definitely one of those characters where it's matchups seem good on paper, but he has just a lot of staying power with the amount of damage output. So, sometimes you get that, and sometimes he is able to overwhelm you pretty fast.
Terry is just what I would like to call a stereotypical DLC character, where you paid for this guy. We're gonna make him good, and so he has very little end lag on the moves that he has. and he has a lot of built-in combos that he can just kill you with, especially with Go.
Yeah, I mean, once Go's active, that's just a scary zone to be in. And overall, did show a lot of staying power in the matchup, but you were able to take him down for that. With that, though, are there any final thoughts that you have for the matchup? Just things that you guys thought about or things you'd like to share just to show just overall thoughts at the end?
I think we played pretty well, especially without Leodog. Yes, there could have been a lot of things that we could have done differently that could have changed the outcome of this match. But, you live, you learn, and probably not go Snake, really. I thought that was a pretty odd choice. But in terms of what we could have done and how close Game 1 was, we could have done a lot better if 1, we had Leodog, and 2, we actually planned better. But yeah, Mata, that first round, I love to see it. We love to see it, especially when he goes and does something similar to Leodog, where he just goes around and takes like 6 stocks.
We take those, right? It's like,
I thought that was really cool.
For them, but like we love to see it, right? And I mean, it ended up being a really cool final matchup for the team. But with that, well fought victory. Well, not victory, but well fought overall. And congratulations on just the overall play. Like you said, you didn't have your normal lineup, but you guys were able to hold your own throughout the matchup. So thank you for joining us tonight as we got to just kind of get an overview of the matchups. And good luck on the rest of the season.
One closing thought I would like to say is that there are no. How do I say this? When it comes to getting through the crew battles, I really think that our team is really, really good, especially with everything that's going on here. It's just that if we actually go and do any offline games, then I feel like we could be like one of the best, if not like top 3. I would say top 3. Like maybe that's a little biased of me, but I would still love to see us climb the ranks, especially during this very competitive season, because Michigan was terrible. But
yeah, I mean,
we just really love to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, good thoughts to end on with that. Again, thank you for joining us to give us some thoughts on the matchup. It's always good to see and hear from the players because, we study the game to learn as much as we possibly can for these games, but we're not the ones actually playing it. So thank you again for joining us. It was a good night to have this matchup and just to see overall what was going on. So thank you for all joining us at home as well. We hope you had a great night, and make sure to continue to tune in as we will continue to have Smash Bros. Every week here for the foreseeable future, and plenty of other games on the other days. So have a great night and have a good following end of week.
And Olimar is peak. Don't let anyone say that. Don't let anyone tell you different.
But yeah, with that, glad to see you all here and have a great night, and that will be the end.
That was not coordinated.